Hey everyone, scary, hairy, cranky man here. Right. Steve, Daniel, Travis, Petter, Ruslan, James, Temby Pro. Don't remember you. Welcome if you're new. Arnold. Just started watching Barat. Ha! Never watched the first one. Didn't watch the series. Probably won't watch this one. Pardon me. Alright, let's get into this. Getting late. Lateness means crankiness means mistakes. It's already 11:15 at night. Definitely well past my optimal working time. I've just never found... I can know that a lot of people do find it funny. For some reason it doesn't quite get my funny bone tickle me. But that's just... Yeah. It probably is hilariously funny and I probably just lack that nerve. Okay, so what is this? This is... stickers upside down, you moron. Let's see, backlight failure, or data not making it to screen. Had liquid damage, 6 months later, only issue is no screen. That's a big issue. Oh, right, so I've got suggestions of taking up electroshock therapy. I hate it when these don't pop, because then it makes you have to dig in a little deeper. Ugh. And you always worry when you dig a little deeper if you're going to end up catching yourself some circuit board on the way. Doesn't matter how many times you do it, it's still a concern. Hey RDP, bad internet, that's no good. Josh, hey Vogon, how's it going? Mr. Menzies is here too, Yako Scar. Okay, let's have a look. We've got a little bit of fluff. So I wonder where the liquid damage was. Straight away, let's just have a look at the screen connector. If it's decided to have a conversation with the backlight, then it's all over. Come on, out you come. Hate it when screws get stuck on that last quarter thread. And so you don't know whether to... Okay, that's kind of weird. I have actually definitely removed that from... It was just odd alignment, I guess. Right, now before I go too much further, what I really should do is disconnect the battery. Because that would be a really silly thing to do. Particularly that I'm supposed to be at least a half reasonable representative of the repair industry. For me to go and forget to disconnect the battery would be a bit of a snafu. Just looking through YouTube to disassemble a laser USB drive, as in the brand laser. Okay. And the winner is... end of the road. Maybe. We'll see. But it's not good. Whenever you hear liquid damage and screen has disappeared, then that's the crap you expect to see. Yeah. So at this point, we'll be wondering if, in fact, anything's alive. What's frustrating is that it was working for quite a while, so they had their chance to get data and everything if it's dead. Asio, I'm sorry to hear that you're on the other side. I mean, I can understand. Reality's get in the way and it's difficult to sit down and watch things. Hey, Jessica. Uh, we'll give it a boot, see if there's any life, but I'm not really sort of having high hopes. If we're lucky, it might have just carbonized to ground rather than to the CPU. Yeah, Josh. I mean, I know when Dave Jones went over the connector, discussing the technical side of it, and the fact, yeah, technically he is correct. Yeah, the connector pin separations are rated for 50, more than 50 volts. They can handle that. That is under the ideal circumstances, but unfortunately, I think that in these scenarios, you really do need to put in guard pins for separation. But then I suppose Apple really doesn't care. It's like, yeah, the engineers probably did want to put in guard pins, but then Apple said no, that stops them from blowing up. Hey, JCT and Trevmar. So I think the engineers were probably content to do it right. But, yeah, other forces were at play. Okay, let's see if this thing even boots. I find myself... where is my power meter? Great, now I've lost my power meter. Fantastic. And here's the cat. Hey, Dion. Ah, there it is. Guess it, yeah. Yeah. Does that look like USB-C to anybody? No. Told you it's late. Hey, Shad. Well, we're getting 20 volts. We're getting 1.5 amp. It's spinning up. This may actually be alive. Maybe not. 1.5 amp. Yeah, it's spinning up. 1 amp. 1.2. Might be alive. I'll plug this in and then connect HDMI up to it. Hey Israel, how's it going? No cats on the channel tonight. It's good to see some people are seeing the new layout that I've got up the front, the top. Okay, let's change my screen across. You guys aren't going to be able to see this, I'm afraid. I kind of like need another monitor for this sort of work. Okay, so we've got a blue screen of death. I do find sometimes though I have to disconnect the power, have the HDMI already plugged in, scratch my nose, and then try it again. From Mexico. I'm fairly sure I've got a direct USB-C to HDMI adapter that I bought from Apple. It's interesting, it's not booting now. Let's try to press the power button. No, it's only doing 40 milliamps now. That's interesting. Try again. We've probably lost our one chance to get the data off. 40 milliamps. That's rather peculiar. Straight away, 40 milliamps. There's no battery connected to it. Holding down the power button shouldn't do diddly squat. Hey Danielle. Gary Matthews. Kratos. Yes, it's 11:30. Gotta plug that back in. Alright, we're gonna have to take the board out and have a look. There must be some other damage floating around. It looks like there is a possibility that it is still alive. I am very glad that we lifted up that connector before we powered it up, because otherwise we would not have anything close to a happy story to tell. So let us embark on the painfully boring and slow process of removing the A1707 board. At least I think it's the 1707. I get confused with the newer ones. 1707. Another Schrodinger's MacBook. It would appear it could be. Remove lifeboat and try again. Okay, tomorrow's. Well, I'm going to take the board out to have a look anyway. By the way, does anyone in Australia have a lifeboat adapter? Because I would like to borrow one if possible. I've got one machine that might come back with the lifeboat. Somehow I doubt it. It will come up in target disk mode, and it will start to show me the directory structure, but then very quickly it shuts down. So there's a fault probably in the memory chips, maybe in the controller. I'm not sure. But all I know is that I can't get what I want through target disk mode, so I'm gonna have to see if I can at least try with the lifeboat. We don't do daylight savings here, so it's 11:30 here. Okay, we've got one missing screw down the bottom. Top left batch was crooked slightly. That's I found that is the nature of these packs. They're almost always crooked one way or another. Even if they install them perfectly aligned, just while that two-sided adhesive is kind of getting its grip, they can drift. There's a lot of fingerprints on this one. Here, 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 here. There was stuff over there, there, on that. What's a lifeboat adapter? Gary, it's a unit that Apple created to be able to recover data through this connector here. So if the board was dead, so to speak, this supposedly would give you access to the internal drive directly. So I imagine the lifeboat connector contains some kind of driver. I'm kind of curious how they handled the encryption side of it. Maybe it queried the CPU as well. I don't know. All I know is that for a while they were the hot item to buy, and then Apple killed off the lifeboat connector anyway, and a lot of people would just end up fixing main boards. So there was very little demand in the end for it. It just became one of those tools that will get you out of a bad situation, fix everything, that ended up not really being in demand that much. Except for when you do need it, and then if you don't have one, then, well, you don't have one. Okay. Oh, of course, I always forget about the adhesive that's on the underside of the rubber seal. What else have I forgotten now? Ah. There you go. Good reason not to just yank boards up and hope for the best, because I left that T8 there. Hey Chris, how's it going? Fancy seeing you here. A Makue? Yeah, Jay, they have removed it from the new boards. I think there was only like one or two boards, models that had the lifeboat, and then they stopped it. Hey, Mr. Hedgehog, DJ Craze. I have about 5 minutes to towel off before I have to bring my mother to an appointment. You better get cracking. Liking the beard. Well, you would say that, wouldn't you? It makes you feel like it sort of affirms your own personal life choices, doesn't it? Like, I've got a beard. I'm not sure if I should have one. But Paul's got a beard. Therefore, I must have one. It is the right thing to do. And of course, the same applies for me. I'm like, Chris Long's got one, so I should be allowed to have one too. Admittedly, there are some people who just can't grow beards. It's not their fault. Well, it is. It's their genetics. We may as well take this off since that is jacked up. Chicken or the egg? Poor little Chris, yeah. Well, given that I'm older, technically that should make me the chicken, right? I've had this on and off since 2000. But not everyone has a... Yeah, well, yeah, the flux keeps it smooth. Well, now we're going to be talking about what came first, chicken or the egg. Of course, the answer is neither. I wonder if the damage on the connector itself, of the display connector, is what was causing this to misbehave. Yeah, while it was doing the 40 milliamp crap. Sorry, I'm a little bit loose with my words today. I do apologize in advance. It's been a interesting day. Finally, after 3 days of fighting with the courier company, I got my package. After they pretty much told me that I was lying, they, funnily enough, found the package, and it wasn't where they told me it would be, because the driver did something funky. How funky is your package? Yeah, it's not so funky when you can't find it after 3 days, and it's an overnight package. Because I don't know, maybe sometimes you need things overnight, and it wasn't overnight. Anyway, so I got that sorted out. I left a lovely long love story to the courier company through the complaints page. I cut paste it so that if they discarded it, I'd have a copy of it still. So I was smart like that. These companies are smart though. They know how to deflect customers. They know how to get them off the support line. They know how to make you just give up. But I wasn't having any of it. But they did get the last laugh today, because I had another package coming which contained all my bubble wrap and stuff that I use for, packaging laptops to go back to people. And again, they have it posted as out for delivery. 4:30 comes and goes, and it's still not out for delivery. Well, it's still not at my place. So I phone up the company and I said, "Oh wait, I've got a new one for you. This one here hasn't arrived yet." Oh, very good, sir. We will check that for you. Thank you very much. And I get to 5:30 and the package is still not there. 6 o'clock, the package is still not there, but it's still saying out for delivery. Needs to say it's still to this hour out for delivery, but I have a feeling that the truck driver is back home, kicking back and laughing at me. But anyway, Monday will come and the war will begin again. Okay, this is odd because this is not working. That's what the problem is. Because when you disconnect that, it should just turn off. That should not stay on. As soon as you disconnect it from the load, it should turn off like that. Great. What are you doing? Or was it the other one I'm talking about? Anyway, we're down to 5 volts there, so let's see what happens. Oh, now you're going to boot loop on me. And now you're not. Something's whacked here. I make Big Clive look clean shaven. I haven't seen. Wait, Big Clive. I was getting confused with AVE, and I was going to say, no one's ever seen AVE's face. Right, Big Clive. He's got the goatee, right? See, Barry West. Out for delivery in the out for delivery so that the out for delivery team can move into the out for delivery bin so the out for delivery team can lose it. Yeah, that's what they did. They lost it. Oh, crikey. Mate, I got it wrong. You know what makes these things work better? I'm having a rough day, eh? I think I'm just a bit rattled. Ugh. Now we're going to wait, see if Jim's 11-inch screen comes to life with the glorious signal from the MacBook. Worse than that yummy steak, it's called not putting the power in at all. Sometimes it can take a minute or two for these to come back to life. So if in another 60 seconds I haven't got anything up there, then I'm going to plug this back in. But I'm starting to wonder whether this Chinesium copy of probably a better quality unit is now trolling me. Alright, I've got a 1466 that I'll fix after this. Funnily enough, Steve K, the courier driver changed today. Like, we've had the same courier driver for a couple of months now. And today, it's a different courier driver. And I'm wondering, what happened to the other one? Maybe I put a little too much heat in the system and they decided to discard the bad courier driver. Okay, we've got a proper boot sequence going on here. I'm sorry you can't see it because of the way the damn cable is. We're at 20 volts, 1.6 amps. And since it's not charging, I'm going to allow it to be acceptable. Okay, we're down to 1 amp. So we're using 20 watts. Kind of nervous. Wait, no. We have got a battery icon. You probably might not be able to see that, but there you go. Battery icon. It might boot now too. You gonna boot? It's not gonna boot. But the CPU must be alive at least. Alright. see if I can find a replacement screen connector for this one. I've noticed they have a bit of a strange behavior when you plug them in like that with no battery. They start calling out for their battery. They're like, hello, battery, are you out there, out there, out there? So now we go through Paul's trash bag or trash box of trash, trying to find a replacement connector. It's the sort of thing I should have a replacement of, because I am aware of obviously the fact that they do often fail like that, and sometimes you want to check them. So yeah, normally I have a couple, one on hand, but hey, it's Friday, couriers don't like me, which means it's a perfect opportunity for me to not have one. Yeah, it's going to be a great day when I have proper shelving and everything like that. I know I keep saying it, but it's just to remind all the new people that I'm not intentionally a train wreck with my stuff. It's just limitations of space. Okay, it would appear I do not seem to have one of those. That's frustrating. Unless it's in my other container. Oh, it looks washed out because the window is overwritten it, that's why. There we go, should be fixed now. Stuart, that's a little scary, Uncle Paul. Not sure I can approve of that at all. Children, terrifying creatures. Okay, there might be something in here. 3 amp backlight fuses surprisingly do get used, contrary to popular mythology. Well, I sure don't have a shortage of those things. One thing I certainly don't want, so nobody suggest it, are those useless, dinky little wall-mounted, like 24 drawer or 48 drawer things. They're initially you think, yeah, they're going to be great, but when you actually do have them, they're annoying. They're too small. They're unstable. So I find cardboard boxes end up better, or a good shelving system where you've just got lots of those open crate boxes, long open crate boxes. Okay, I do not seem to have one of those connectors, so that means this is going to have to go on the back burner until I can find one. So we don't really know. We know the CPU is alive. We don't know whether the display is alive. The board itself seems to be okay. So the liquid damage may have gone into the screen. The screen itself may need replacing. In fact, that's probably the prudent thing to do, given the damage that we could see. Right, that's some fresh damage there, my folks. And now I've got stuff all over my pants here. Dust, that's what it is, dust. Alright, you're out of here. What are you? You're out of here. Alright, 1466 it is then. See you, Vagon. Oh, by the way, you know how we wanted a 2015 trackpad the other day? Well, I got one. It's no good. Fresh from the supplier. Now remember the previous one that we had, that was from my old stock, that had that little smidge of liquid damage. Well, this one doesn't have any liquid damage at all, but it does have transit damage. Check that out. Now, and this is sort of crap I've got to deal with. And there's a chip out of there, which is probably, part of whatever the hell happened here. It's a nice flex. At first I thought maybe that's by design, but then I compared it to another one. I was like, nope, that's not by design. So that's being crushinated. So I know what's happened, and I've complained to the supplier before about doing this, but they keep doing it. So like, okay, this is a 1465 battery or whatever, but what they do is if I order multiple items, so like trackpad and battery, which was the case because I bought a 1582 battery or whatever. So they open up this, they throw this in here, close it up, and then they just put it in a satchel. Just, a shipping satchel. And so what happens in the satchel is it gets thrown in the truck or whatever, and something goes, bam, lands on it. And because of the way that is, those sides just get crushed down. So now, I'm going to send it back to them. Like I said, I've told them plenty of times, don't do that. If you are going to put something in there, at the very least, just lift it up and put it on the underside like that, okay? Because there's room underneath this plastic. It's all empty and all that. But no, so I have to make sure that they learn their lesson. How many of these? I actually give these away to customers sometimes, so I don't end up collecting too many of them. Or I get locals here and they go, have you got a pentalobe driver? And that's the opportune moment to rip them off good and proper. Like, you want my tools? You want my tools? You trying to steal my tools from me? Here, I'll give you these ones. These are my high quality, rarely found, beautiful coloured tools of my prized possessions. And then they always say, we'll bring it right back. We'll bring it right back. We're just going to use it for 5 minutes. Honestly, we'll bring it right back. You all know how that story goes. Weeks later, have you got that tool of mine? Oh, yeah, sorry, mate. I just, I got distracted. I was out fighting kangaroos and wallabies, and the bloomin' snake crawled up and strangled my half-sister. So now I'm a single man again. Yeah, things like that. And you're like, yep, heard it all before, buddy. So yeah, give them disposable tools, and they think they pulled a Swifty on you, but you actually were the winner. Mr. Anel is here, is he? See, Chris, you told me those were special made drifting. Yeah, just for you, Chris. Did you lend your tools to that guy who punched? Oh God, yeah. I tell you, what I really hate about that. Oh wow, they haven't even taken the film off this one. Oh God, it's a 2012, or is it 2011? What have I done? This is my punishment. But yeah, that guy punching the roof. You're not really a fan of him, because really he should never have even had his dogs where they were. These people have this tendency of just thinking that they're going to let their dogs roam around and round up whatever wildlife. They think it's all a big joke. But then when you do get something like a big red confronted by the dogs, the big red will crush those dogs. I mean, if you Google Western red kangaroo muscles, Yeah, those guys look like they're on steroids. They pump out all the time. And so, okay, fair enough. The guy goes to save his dogs, and yeah, he did what he did, which, yeah. But the thing is, they wouldn't have been in that situation if he was controlling his animals in the first place. So half the time, I think they're on the drink a bit much. They let the animals go wild. And they go, "Oh, go get the roo, mate. Go get the roo. Chase that roo." And then, the dogs get into trouble, literally, and yeah, it's not good. So if anyone deserved a smack in the head, it was the guy letting his dogs get into that position in the first place. Steve K caught up on that. I was wondering who would pick up on that little subtle drop. Hey, new blue, no blue, brain fart, no blue sky. Okay, this is a 3 beeper, which we all know is RAM. And the reason why I'm like no is because even if you fix them up now, chances are next week it's going to beep again. So we'll do it, but yeah, yeah, tradie, exactly. Yeah, you got to teach your animal to know not to chase Australian wildlife in general. You see, a lot of these blokes that do that sort of thing, they're usually the ones their dogs are trained to hunt feral pigs, boars, whatever you want to call them. And yeah, feral pigs are a big problem in this area. They destroy a lot of the land, they muck up the water holes, they eat the food. And I'm not even really talking about from the messes up things for the agricultural section. I'm just talking about in general. This looks like it's had a screen cable replacement too. See this little circle here? I only usually see them on screen replacements. Cable replacements. Anyway. So, I'm happy to see the eradication of the feral pigs for the sake of the natural wildlife. But for most, unfortunately, has anyone seen Futurama, the episode where the penguins overpopulate and take over the planet? And there's a scene in there where Leela, what is it? The guys who have to go out and shoot all the penguins. They get all like happy about the fact that they're shooting the penguins, and Leader's like, "That's it. We're not going to shoot the penguins no more." And it's one of those weird things where, realistically, technically, whatever, the best thing was for the penguins to be culled, but because the people doing the culling were getting pleasure out of the idea or doing it, then it wasn't ethical anymore. So it's just one of those interesting debates. So it doesn't really make a difference in the end, stuff like that. Lots of out of context comments. Oh yeah, that's for sure. Oh, the feral buffalo in the Northern Territory, though they at least have become a bit of a, man, we've got liquid damage in here. Compound fault now. They at least have become a bit of a stock animal. I guess it was one way for Indonesia or Southeast Asia to sort of migrate into Australia a bit more. They're a decent eating animal. Steak doesn't taste too bad. Yeah, in the end, the penguin, that's after Bender messed with them. If it ain't black and white, scratch, peck and bite. And of course the orca whale. So the orca whales are the ones that start chewing on the penguins, that's right. But I suppose getting back to the original point with regards to Futurama was that a lot of the people that do the culling can fall into the the happy shooters. And so therefore you sort of worry, you're like, oh, is this... I guess it's not a problem that they're killing the boar, the wild pig, that's what they're meant to do. But often what can happen is when things get a bit silly or they're a bit bored or whatever, then they start plinking off other things that aren't meant to be knocked off. Camels, there's another one. Brumbies as well. We're not supposed to have brumbies in our national parks. Oh god, it's a refurb board as well. Everything is against this job. What the... Is that wire or is that... I'm gonna hope that that's just someone's really grey hair or silvery hair. Nibbler... Oh yeah. The you're right. The amount of foresight and the preparations and all that stuff is quite fantastic. I do have to catch up with the seasons after, I think it's season 4 or 5. After they did the awful movie length ones. After, what is it, the Waigree Yonder and the tentacles and things like that. That was just a awful way of doing more episodes. So I've got to see the series is after that. Boomer hair. Hey, an elf. Tin whiskers? No. Very rarely see that. Most of the time, the whole tin whisker stuff really was the early days of lead-free soldering, and when they mostly were just using pure tin, well, mostly pure tin. But these days it's under control quite well. You don't really see it much on modern equipment, particularly with alloys like the SAC305 and stuff like that. If I did have to start using lead-free solder, I probably would just be using SAC305. Well, we're just going to have to toast this thing up and see how it goes. Yeah, there's a lot of hair on this one. There's also, like I said, this sticker bothers me a lot, because what it means is that it's been broken before. An Apple service agent has had their hands on it and they've fixed it, and now it's broken again. But in fairness, these boards do that. The 3 beep thing is fairly normal. Let's get the stickers off, because otherwise they're going to melt. And while I'm not overly concerned about the melting of the sticker, it's more just the smell that it makes. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get this guy off, because they make these white ones crumble. As soon as you try to lift them up, see, they just crumble away. It's like enamel paint or something on the top. So that's going to be annoying. Get this one off. How about checking RAM? Well, it's intermittent solder bridge, so, and pretty much every single one of these suffers it. Oh, that sucks. So much for that. It's a little hard to get a razor in here, Andrew. Like, that's why I'm using this. Unless I've got, say, a 10mm razor. I gotta admit, I'm annoyed about the fact that I didn't have the 1707 screen cable. I really... If you said to me, would you bet $100 that you got one of those? And I'd go, yeah. No, clearly I didn't. Oh yes. And Eric. Hey Ray, how come my MacBook Pro isn't detecting my SD cards? There's so many reasons for that. So many reasons. In other words, I don't know. No, seriously, there's just too many reasons for why it could be doing that. We've gone through a couple in recent videos, and there's plenty more beyond that. I'm not trying to be difficult, it's just one of those realities of without having the board in front of me, I'm pretty much not going to know. Yeah, every time I switch that on or off, it does that. Son of a... Tradie Trev, no, I believe it's actually there to try and stop dust getting underneath the modules, the chips, because the chips are not underfilled, and so because yeah, it's just easy for dust to get under there, and the dust can cause problems. Alright, just warming up the board a bit. Alright, Stuart, sounds like, yeah, you need to get that one off to bed, to sleep. Ah, you gotta be so damn careful about how you say things around here. Good thing I never clicked the suitable for children tag on these things. Ah, come on, no, air. Thank you. You need that last 10 litres per minute. It's moved. Yeah, it's moved. This one's stuck down here. Okay, that's a problem. So that one moved on its own. They should just move on their own once they've reflowed, and if they don't, that's a problem. Yeah, see how they just start wiggling on their own without me actually having to tap them? But there was that second one, and it did not do that. Ow, it's getting hot. Now we just wait. But yeah, this chip here, it didn't move properly. Hey, Richard from Ghana. Yeah, it might be a sign of too much crap. Chris, pretty much every single one. Pretty much every single one. The best I can do is get a couple of months out, and then that's it. They quit again. Ouch. I think it's a RAM issue, Chris. When it comes to the solder profile, the general consensus, well, the general suggestion is if you look at the typical profile curves on most parts, that once you go past the peak, when the actual reflow occurs, then most of the time they tell you to cool as rapidly as you can, like within 20-30 seconds. At least certainly bring the air temperature down. And most of the time, I don't think you can even do faster than what their limits are. Particularly with lead-free. Well, I have a feeling this is actually not going to work now at all. I'm not a fan of the fact that it's got liquid damage all over it either. What doesn't help is that it has so many RAM chips for this board. Whereas when you move to, the newer, the 2013 onward boards, they've only got the 4 chips on them instead of this colossal cluster of chips. At this point, we're just going to see if we get a beep and see if we get any chipmunk activity. Hey Warren Stamps, how's it going? Is it possible to fix a G-Sync module chip? No, I don't even know what that is, to be honest. Sorry. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, MagSafe. Yep, that's right. Oh, yeah, you filthy rat. You want MagSafe 1, don't you? You also don't want iPhone 6 parts floating in there. Right, MagSafe 1. I don't get it. Why couldn't Apple just simply produce... I suppose they do have MagSafe 3 now. The MagSafe that doesn't even exist in terms of physical connection so much. It's the magnetic MagSafe. Ah, boots. I gotta tell you, I wasn't expecting that. I was genuinely expecting to just give me the glorified beep, beep, beep. So, computer's backing up. Watch out on L. But yeah, hectic with when I used to do the manufacturing and we would put the boards through on the reflow system, it was actually one of the hardest parts was trying to get all the hot air out of the system as quick as possible so that you could keep track of keep the profile online. And this isn't going to boot using the keyboard because I didn't plug it in. Star 1466 MacBook Air turn on sometimes, but fan don't spin. So many possible. This is the trouble with a lot of these things is that there are so many possible causes for most symptoms, and the only way to really find out is to look at the board. You need more information. It's very difficult to do online diagnosis just off one or two comments. The only thing that you can often do is if it's a signature fault, like 3 beeps on a MacBook 2012 Air, then okay, it's going to be RAM, or most cases RAM. 3 beeps on a 1278, 1286, 1297, RAM slot failure often. Garbled trash on your screen with a 1286, 2011 GPU fault. Yeah, so if it's a signature type fault, then you can guess at that. But beyond that, there's too many possibles. NVIDIA's proprietary variable refresh rate tech. Oh, right, yeah, no, I won't have no idea about that. I did notify the business that sent this to me. I said to him, yep, I've never had it last long enough, really. I said, if you send it and I do the job, I still am not going to guarantee it. Maybe the only way you can get this to last is if you take off all the chips, reball them with leaded solder, and put them all back down fresh. But that's just not worth doing. Was this knocked off stuff? SMC failure, corrode tracer? Oh god, no. Thanks, Crazy J. Yeah, don't send stuff like that to me. This might be booting slow because there's no keyboard or anything, so maybe no... I'm a little worried about... It's more like oil, to be honest. It's like an oily substance. What's that, Chris? Didn't work. Oh, what? You tried... Oh, you did the whole reball thing. Oh. I guess you got to do it once. Maybe I'll do something like that for Halloween. The night that Paul reballed All how many chips are there? There's like 12, 16. I can't remember. Oh, yeah, I can totally understand that you would cry after that, Chris. You deserve the temporary release of manhood to have a big open cry about that. 48-month warranty. Yeah, sounds brilliant. What's this? It's not booting now. Yeah, see, that took a little long to boot. So you wonder whether problems are creeping back in or not. Okay, it's the AMC. Thanks for being here. Yeah, the stencil for the chips being, yeah, that's the other thing is when they make these RAM chips with physical protrusions and things like that, it doesn't help us. It's not helping. And I suppose they're saying, well, you shouldn't be reballing them, you should just buy new ones. Oh, the lack of battery, Barry, yeah, that can be. It seems to be doing alright this time, maybe. And ZX is here. Hello, ZX. Did I miss you? Chris, what on earth compelled you to go and do that anyway? I mean, how desperate were you? Yeah, right, I'm getting sick of this already. Let's try with the battery. At least you know it's a replacement battery by the fact that the plastic protections are still on it. I have got a 11-inch 1465 that I have to. That one that we did the other week and it was all lemonade damage. I have got to do it still. Okay, that was a much better fast boot to the bong. And what's sad about this particular fix is you can run MemCheck 86 on it for weeks and it will be fine. But then the moment you go and give it to your customer, a week or two later, they're going to be like, it's failed. And you're like, ah. And you can't realistically charge money for this because you know it's going to fail. Curiosity because you'd reflowed it 2 times. Oh, right. So why do you think that it didn't work? Was it just because you did a terrible job of it, or was it just pushed it too far? Like, you know, you did some board damage or something like that. I mean, the amount of heat you got to put these things through, it wouldn't surprise me. Crazy J, are you still buying from time to time MacBooks from eBay? I am not anymore. I've found 90% of, or 99% of the stuff you get on eBay, usually the person knows what is actually wrong with it, but they're pretending that they don't know. Or they have already stripped all the useful parts out of it and they're leaving you with a husk, something that's useless, and you're going to lose your money. So the days of actually getting a reasonable bargain on eBay, I'd say they're over. Yeah, Facebook groups are a much better option. Whoa. That was slow. That's the other thing. If all the good bits are still in the machine, they want too much for it because they know that you want it. So yeah, Facebook groups in your local area, like sales swap pages, are probably your best bet to find people who haven't yet clicked to the value of things like, particularly if you can get things like 1502 or 1398 machines with immaculate screens for $350. Yeah, if you can do that, then you're laughing. It just doesn't happen though. ZX, that is interesting. So, yeah. Back in like the late 90s, or mid to late 90s, I used to hate burning CDs. You pretty much need to have a dedicated machine set aside to burn CDs that no one was allowed to touch, was not connected to the internet, anything like that. Because anytime someone bumped something, the buffer would run out, or yeah, something would go wrong, and yep, sure enough, you'd have another plastic toaster. Um, Toaster? No, what are those things you put under drinks? Coaster. Plastic coaster. 1466 map should be fine. Hey, Tony W. Escape's good. Keyboard's good. Six skills. Got a 2015 1502 for $50 water damage. And for the life of me, I can't get to power on. It only draws 17 milliamp. Yeah, you should be able to find that. That's probably a short somewhere. It's a short that's causing it to then just fall straight back to nothing. That would be my guess. Anyway, either that or the clock chip is not generating. So is this ICE 1.7 i5? Yeah. Oh well, we'll put this through the ultrasonic and see how it goes, but remember this job number. What is the job number? 334. Do you know what the update might be that is indicated on the App Store? Nope, no idea. You people expect me to know stuff? Get out of here. Yeah, six skills. When you see tiny milliamp draws like that, it's some, not always, but it can very often be a big short somewhere. No, this is not a 3209. This is a, what is it? I forget what damn board number this is. It's not a 3209. At least I don't think it is. Now I've got to go check. Hey, Joshua Bell. And I'm on the... Oh, wait, no, there we go. Yeah, it's a 3023. No, it wasn't an 09. 3023. Hey, Mark. How's it going, Mark? Mark, thank you very much for that package of kitten food. Thank you very much for everything you've been doing. Kitten's been chowing through it. Well, at least it sleeps and wakes. Alright, so this is destined for the ultrasonic now. And that is actually it. I don't have anything left on the queue that I can handle at this time of night. Joshua, yeah, 10 frames per second, maybe 12 in some of the scenes is about the best you're going to get with these machines. When you get the later 2013 to 2014, I think, they will usually get 15 to 24 frames per second, and then the most recent ones will often get 20 to 30 frames per second. At least with that particular size that I was using there. Thank you, Andrew. Yeah, so we'll put, what do you call it, mem test on it. And by using mem test a lot, we will basically wear out the good work that we've just done here just before it starts to fail. And then we'll ship it back to the customer, and then they'll get a couple of good days of use, and then because we've already pre-worn out all our good work, it will fail pretty quickly for when they got it. Adrian Russell, what would you say was the most easiest repair job you've done? Interested to know because I wanted to get the board repaired, general MacBook repairs, and figured I'd ask this. Usually when it's a blatantly obvious fail. The one we had last night, was it last night? Yeah, last night we just had a single cap failure on the board. It just split open. As soon as I took the panel off, I could see that it was split. It was shorted. You take the cap off, the short's gone, everything runs again. It's kind of the equivalent of the iPhone 6 Wi-Fi cap knockoff kind of thing, where when there's a cap near the Wi-Fi chip on the iPhone 6s, it gets wet, corrodes, shorts out, kills the phone, as in, you can't run it. You knock the cap off and it runs. So U8900 probably be a second type level fix. The problem with U8900 is that if you're not watching yourself, you can end up gobbling up parts as you do the rework around the chip. And if you're really unlucky, you can leave a short between some of the pins and you destroy the board. So that, I'd call that a second level. Third level would probably be doing the backlight driver replacement on boards. But these days, those kind of faults are pretty far and few between. Most of them get gobbled up by other people somehow, people with better marketing skills than me. Instead, mostly now you get some weird internal board faults or corrosion damage that requires you to then do trace rebuilds, and then it's usually multiple faults, things like that. So I would say iPhone 7 IC, I'd say probably level 4 or 5. iPhone 5C, 5S, and TriStar, I'd put that with backlight controller. 6S, 7's a little bit harder with the TriStar because they're under the shield. And to make things really hard, you make them underfilled, and then it's like, that's cry-worthy. I do not ever really want to encounter another iPhone 7 underfilled TriStar. That was a terrible job. I hated it. It made me cry. I butchered that board. I fixed it, but I butchered it first, so that was not good. Let's see if I do have anything around that we can fix. I kind of feel in the mood to repair. I don't want to do keyboard replacement. I've got a couple of those to do, but I'm just not feeling it. Dodgy 3115s. No thank you. I'm just going through a pile of boards that I commandeered from another location. Went into their store and told them it was a stick-up. Like, give me all your boards. And that completely isn't how it went. What have I got here? Let's see. Well, if for your first... Oh no, I've worked on this. I can see my horrible work on there. Really? You're 2.66? Oh, this is the actually dead one. No, it's not. This is a 2.66, 512. What the heck? This is a 2980, right? 2850 rather. My God, Paul, your brain is useless tonight. 2850. What is wrong with this board? This is an i7 2850. It's exactly the thing I need, but what is wrong with it? Have I stripped parts off it? This is the bad bit when you can't remember what you've done. Must be thinking about toasties? Probably, yeah. Crap. What have I done to this board and why haven't I used it? Obviously it's come in and I've thought it's just going to be C... whatever the hell that capacitor is. Because that is a signature type fault. And it's not turned out to be that. And then maybe I've thought it was PCH and given up. But since I'm now no longer under the influence of my prior thoughts, it might be worth having another shot. Because I do need one of these. I need an i7 2850 board. And I was going to get one from AliExpress. Well, I'm just going to hold off on that. Okay, I need a 15-inch chassis. Ugh. Okay. What are you? You're 2936. What? What are you? Center punch display damage. Yeah, this is a good example of the type of crap you deal with on eBay. This was sold on eBay, and I thought, okay, it seems alright, and no trouble. The person made no mention of the fact that there is a great big center punch crack right in the middle. No mention at all of it. As soon as you boot it up, as soon as you powered it up, it was very obvious. But they did not say a damn thing about it. And so it's usually what they leave out of the listings that is going to catch you. Okay, come here. Are you 2850? You connector all gummed up. That's disgusting. Okay, this is the 2850 that we did the surgery on the other night, where we had fun drilling through the PCH. No, it's not. You're a different one again. Oh, this is my bad. This is a 2915. Right, so that is actually a working board. And I simply haven't finished it. It's got the adapter here, and the wire just needs to be tacked down. What the heck? Getting close to Halloween. Spooky stuff's happening. Okay, Greg, thanks for dropping in. We'll see you next time. Right, we'll take your pretty fan and your pretty DC in connector. Thank you very much. And I'll put this in a safe place where I'm going to forget why I put it there, and then I'll once again put it back into the bowels of my terrible workshop, and we won't see it for another few weeks. At this point I am also questioning whether the 2850 and the 2915 actually have there is a slight difference with something, but I don't know what it is. I've forgotten. I think it's to do with the Wi-Fi. I didn't ignore an L, I just didn't read his comment. Crikey. Not that brutal. Where is an L anyway? I did say hello to him before, I'm sure. An L, C9560. Oh yeah, there. That's because an L is shilling for Lewis Rossman. An L, why are you even shilling for him? You got like Stockholm syndrome or something? Hey Sonia, haven't seen you around a lot. I mean, I know you've been in and out, but I haven't really seen you persistently on for long. I understand you've got other things happening. Ach, nee man. Welcome. Oh, give it a whirl, shall we? Been here lurking, not chatting. Well, that's fine. I don't mind. I'll just more, yeah, keep an eye out for your general activity. Well, flippity flip. We've got a fun spin. But I think this one has a problem where something else is going wrong. I think we're supposed to actually get a white screen on boot. Where's Pernov when I need him? Just stop spinning too. Oh, that's right, we don't get CPU activity now, I remember. JCT, yeah, you did. Yeah, we don't get CPU activity on this, that's the problem. So we get into SO state, there's no beeping from the RAM, it just won't, and it does occasionally come out, and that's where the problem is. Luke, the GPU caps have already been replaced, and in fact doubled up, so just as a precaution, it's not that. And what's crazy is that it's pulling a good amount of current, 1.6 amp. So I don't know if it's a PCH failure issue or what. I haven't been able to find any sort of definitive cause. Okay, but now that I know it's the lack of green blinking that I'm looking for, it means I can just get rid of that chassis and focus on the task. How's the voltage on the SO rails? I believe it's quite steady, so that just makes it all the more frustrating. But we will... Okay, I don't need that one to do this. We'll go over it and have another look, and why didn't everyone tell me that my camera was way off like that? Christian, probably he's just too busy with his academic work. Okay, it means I'm going to bring up flexboard view. $28.50. Okay, it's been a while since I've looked at the 2850 board. It's not even on the favorites list anymore. Or maybe I should actually rename the favorites list to the not so favorites if they keep coming up all the time. Thank you, Andrew. Joe Umar, yeah, back in the late 90s. Unfortunately, ek gaan Afrikaans praat nie, man. And that's about the limit of it. I can swear a bit. I can sort of understand a bit, but I sure as heck can't say it much. Swearing's the easiest bit in Afrikaans. It just comes so naturally. It's like in Afrikaans, you're pretty much you're a born swearer straight away. And it's a good language for it. Hey, 3X. Nikita Nat. Ratchet. Okay, what is this? It's a bit of junk. Okay, what is that pin for? Which one is it? Third one. WSKBD1. That's not going to cause any of this. And Nutan Industries. Okay. Uma, are you in South Africa? So you're Joe Grandma, right? Kind of an interesting name combination, I gotta tell you. The most I ever said Uma in South Africa was when I was buying rusks. Oh, I miss those rusks. You don't get anything quite like that here in Australia. In fact, most of the food in Australia is pretty awful compared to the glorious offerings of South Africa. Someone got a pet armadillo. I didn't know you could keep them as pets. Or maybe you can't. Yeah, I'm supposed to be checking rails, not stuffing around doing this. What was the strangest thing you ever ate in South Africa? No, that's a good question. Probably something when I was drunk. Too drunk to remember. There was a lot of interesting game food at the resorts where I worked. So I'm sure there probably was something that I ate that was very weird. Personally, the thing I found most disappointing was crocodile. One of the most beautiful things I found was Nando's. I know, it's very cliche, but oh, and learning to accept that bacon and banana is a perfectly good pizza combination. And I think it was back then that I also found chicken and avocado pizza, which at the time was not exactly a common thing. Yeah, lots of different pizza combinations. Has this one got the damaged ramp? No, I don't think it has. Hey, Ron Rogers. Mapani worms? I gotta admit, I never quite got round to eating Mapani worms. I would go past a few stores on my way to Johannesburg, and they would have Mapani worms on the roadside that you could have. I didn't ever quite stop there to have them. Tempting. I probably should have. And I think if I did, I probably would have chickened out and had them fried. I don't think... I know some people will have them not fried, but I'm not that ballsy. on the other hand, I seem to have been a bit of a dork and put 3 caps up here. I think because I was just getting desperate and thought, let's see how far we can take this. How are the foster fur kids? They're doing good. We'll probably 4 of them will go off to their new, what do you call it, their new orphanage next week. It's going to be hard. We don't like doing that. We like to personally, keep them all for ourselves for as long as possible, but it's just not realistic. So we send them off to a place called Angel Paws, and they specialize in kittens. Witchetty grubs, not keen on them either. It's. I don't have a problem with critters. Like, I mean, I'm gladly eat snails. That's not a problem at all. But witchetty grubs, I never really found them appealing. And I'd probably put my parney worms in the same. Some things just aren't palatable until you've really, really not eaten for a long time. Bit of corrosion by that MOSFET. Again, shouldn't be causing it. Man, I want to solve this damn thing. What frustrates me most is that it's intermittent. Hey, Paul's yum. When you know a board must have some sort of life in it, and it's been intermittent, I mean, you obviously start going looking around for shorts on the board and things like that. Maybe some t-shirts, maybe swimsuit. But, yeah. Or a bit of breakage in a line somewhere. And it just has to be one part. That's all it's going to take. Like one resistor typically. And it'll just have an undercut pad or something like that. And you've got to find the little blighter. If you're unlucky, it's the PCH ball that's just not doing things the way you want. Hello, Arnold. The amount of time I've invested in this, it really would have been more financially sensible to just buy one from AliExpress. I gotta admit though, my concern with buying it from AliExpress is the fact that chances are it's going to have issues too. But I suppose I'm kind of hoping it will have issues that I can. Hey, what's going on here? I just noticed this for the first time. Look at that. Split there, not there. I don't recall that being split before. Does that mean the board has actually been bent? Check the fuse. Hey, Pablo. Good thing you're known around here. Otherwise that could be a banning offence. Okay, let's see. Is the board going to bend? It's a little hard to tell if it's going to... definitely... Son of a bitch. I mean... Yeah, that's what's happened. There's a bend around here, which correlates to where those cut lines are. Sorry, what about Allegro? I'm interested in Allegro information. Someone got Allegro information for me? I need a straight edge. Okay, so if I just give this a little bit of a bend back like that, I'm kind of curious whether it now suddenly... If it works now, I'm going to cry. Reflow the PCH. Yeah, bravo. To be fair, I mean, it's pretty much a dead board anyway. I could put it on the hot plate and then set the hot plate to about 120 and then go over it with the quick at full speed. It'd still be precarious. Yeah, it's not, it should have been blinking green by now. It's not doing that. I believe there was, Christian, yes. I mean, it could all be in my head, but I'm fairly sure it's not unusual for there to be a bend here. Often what it can mean is someone, and this is a refurb board, isn't it? Yes, it is. Means what happened is all these connectors were locked in or something, and someone's lifted the board out like that, or it means the actual chassis it wasn't originally got the bend. I'm not going to do a full reflow yet, but I am going to heat it up just to see what happens. Yeah, I'll get to removing all the compound stuff like that in a bit. I'm just actually right now seeing whether I can get any change of behavior just simply by heating the board. First step. To sort of give me a bit of a you're getting warmer, literally, type behavior. That is the other problem with intermittent faults, is the fact that you spend most of your time just trying to find a way to make them persistent faults, or at least reproducible faults rather. Once you can reproduce the fault, you've got half a chance of fixing it. It's getting late. Just keep an eye on it. Tell me if it goes blinky green. Oop, what's going on here? No blinky. No. So I'll be using this and I'll crank it up to 120 or something like that. We'll get the edge bonding off first. And we'll also get some flux under it. This is going to be a really bad hodgepodge. 3x, just wait. Keep your pants on. Infrared doesn't reveal anything on this board. We've done it before, and the only thing it shows is just the CPU and GPU are getting hot, but nothing much else. I need something better than this. I need a miracle. There's a slightly different behavior to the SMC stuff. Honestly, it looks more like a knife cut though. Oh yeah, that's right, the Grim Reaper. Thanks for reminding me. I knew I had a tool that would do this and I just couldn't think for the life of me what it was. It's like having a brain fart. It is late. I don't get much sleep. I'm going to come up with some excuses. Hey Cam, how's it going, mate? mate. Talk like an Australian, mate. It's marvellous. Yep, you can go on all night talking trashy Australian vernacular and really bad accents. Because I really do not have a proper Australian accent, I'm sorry to say. So do not take me as being your classic Aussie or anything like that, because I most certainly am not. To the point where I probably would take offence if you thought I was. Buffett? Not likely. How dare you? Paul's, it's 1 a.m. See you, Travis. 1 a.m. and the trolls are coming out. Try a refresh, folks. Oops, that's bad. Scratching away at traces going to the PCH. That's because I had the angle wrong on the Grim Reaper and it actually started to become the Grim Reaper. It does a pretty good job of lifting up stuff. Yeah, the problem here is I just can't get a low enough angle here. Try this. No, just botch that up. Doesn't matter if it's still on the board, as long as it clears it away from the PCH. Lewis said he was looking for a replacement. Replacement of what? Cam, I think it's the... Yeah, it's the one... Yeah. Kyun Lee. Oh, I can almost read this, but no, I can't quite. Damn it. I should know that. I should know that. Instead, I know nothing. Makube, this one in particular was picked at random, yes. So we're now going to stick some power into this board. Give me a chance to catch up and see what my wife's doing. She's upstairs probably writing her next novel that will distress and horrify the readers. I'll be disappointed if she doesn't write something like that. Okay. Okay, we're gonna have to crank this sucker up. I'm gonna get some decent heat in here. I know I can definitely do 120. Let's go 125. Set, enter. Put it in the middle, because that's where it's the hottest. Does that one go to 220? I'm actually not sure, to be honest. I haven't tried. I'm on there. Set. 220. There you go. I was going to use the USB tester as a handle, to be honest. Oh, okay. So, yeah. One thing I have found with these is that you do have to open them up and resolder a lot of the connections. If you don't do that, it can become a little bit of a hazard. Steve K, no, I'm going to heat the board, hit it with the quick, touch the PCH, and probably ruin everything. I have tried no RAM and all that sort of stuff before. It doesn't make a difference. I've basically gone through all the usual isolation tests and nothing has any influence. It probably wouldn't be a bad idea, Cam, to open yours up and check. Most of the fault seems to be, or most of the problem seems to be with the thermocouple wires. So they come in from around about the middle here. Well, I think it's up here, the thermocouple is. There's a groove under this blue stuff, comes in and into here. And the soldering on it is just atrocious. Silent Leon, we do not have any CPU activity. We've got SO state, but no CPU activity. It's intermittent. Machines like this often can be PCH related fault. We don't really have anything to lose in this scenario. I've already dumped several hours into looking for the more typical faults, and including the GPU cap, stuff like that. It's none of those. So we're now sort of going for the, well, we don't know what's going wrong type behavior, and we're going to just reflow the PCH, give it a little bit of a prod, hope that the flux might clean out something. I did notice it'll have random hotspots until left for 5 minutes and it's heat or evening. Okay, I haven't noticed that myself, but then I have never checked. Yeah, Silent Line, it is unfortunate because normally these 2850 boards, yeah, it is just the GPU cap. You fix that up and it just runs beautifully, but this one, it doesn't. Both the CPU and the GPU come up to heat. It draws 1.6 amps. It's not a short circuit. The heat is spread pretty evenly where you'd expect it. It's like it's just not clocking, or it's stuck in it won't get through post or something like that. Mark, I did see that, but I also said I want to keep the chipmunk in there as a bit of a lever for me. I'd be very surprised if the chipmunk fell apart, and if it does, we'll fix it. The job number isn't applicable in this case. I don't have a sticker for this particular job anymore. Wow, we're only at 135. Well, still got a while to go. Oh, someone bought a copy of Flexboard View. Awesome. Thank you, person who bought Flexboard View. Always appreciated. Okay, someone says there's a fault in my software, but I think it's actually the intended behavior. I might just let them know that right now. Yep, no. Yeah, they found it. They realized it was a feature. Use an old USB. So all the other ones I've got are plastic. There's no reason there should be any problem with that. We're only going to get to 220 on the board. So that means maybe 150 at that height. I'm not worried about it. And like I said, if I botch it up, I'll fix it. You watch, I'll make a complete disaster of it. And then you can all laugh, see? That's the positive outcome. If I get it wrong, you get a laugh. Okay, it's fine. Actually, that's right. I was meant to message my wife and find out what she's up to. Other end of the house, too far for me to walk through. And I also would have to go to the outside, and it's raining. Just checking on you, seeing how everything is. I'm still in the middle of a stream. Full stop. Here we go, 150. This is taking forever. Ooh, we've got smoke coming up now. I just saw a little off, which means I'm going to have to turn my extractor on now. Mr. Lemon, thank you very much for the €4. Thank you kindly, sir. Coffee money. Aruna, yes, that is the thing with Flexboard View compared to, say, ZXW or the others. Flexboard View is a generic viewer, so if you have a board file for anything, then Flexboard View should be able to read it, providing it's one of the supported formats. And if you have your own projects, you can generate board views for those projects so that you can then share to other people or just use for yourself, so that if you're having to diagnose faults on your own equipment, you can do it. So that is the big sale point, or the big differentiator between, say, ZXW, EasyBoard and stuff like that, is that Flexboard View is more for anyone who wants to produce board views to distribute so that other people can repair their equipment without having to actually give out too much of the intellectual property. If you use things like Allegro, OrCAD, any of those sort of things, you should be able to export from your main board file to a format that Flexboard View supports, and you can just like have top, bottom layer, outlines, and that's it. And then you have all your nets and things like that. Alrighty, 165. This is taking too long. Why is it taking too long? Shouldn't take this long. Alright, Zarina. I think we should have a shot at just doing the reflow. For all I know, the thermocouple isn't even correct. Am I being blind, or does ZXW have 6 home buttons? I'm pretty sure they should have. How can you export from Allegro? If you go to, if you export as, I think, GenCAD or Protel ASCII. Okay, yeah, GenCAD, hyperlinks, Protel ASCII. There's a whole bunch of different formats that Flexboard View supports. So you just pick one of them. But I'm pretty sure it was Protel ASCII was the one that most people use. Alright, here we go. You guys can't see it. I can't zoom out any further. I'm sorry. The other thing we need to do is take the nozzle off. Get a maximum power. Not hot though. We don't want hot. We just want... normal camera. The trouble is I need the scope to be able to see it. So I'm sorry. At least for the push part. Hopefully I don't popcorn the bastard. If I popcorn it, I'm blaming you all. Yeah, maybe I do have to... I don't know what just went pop then. Anyone know what went pop then? Because I don't know. Something went bang. least I think it was something on the board. Yeah, I think the board's getting upset. Something underneath died. I'm gonna have to stop. Good thing the fume extractor's working. What it might have been is I might have been leaning, like the load, the weight of the board was leaning on a part, and then it just reflowed itself. Yeah, that's Celsius. Yeah. My wife hasn't responded. I actually can't see anything under here. Better sleep, quite possible, yeah. I really can't see anything that would have done that. It's around about 50 now. Might have been the hot plate, yes. I think you're right, Mark. Yeah, it was. It was the hot plate. That was my bad. I figured the silicon would be fine with the heat, but I didn't think about the underplate. You ready for this? I'm going to lift it up and you have a look. There we go. So that's what it was. And that is the same stuff that they make the board holders out of, but for whatever reason, I didn't like that. I honestly would not expect that from that substance, that material. Normally it's just fine with heat, but... And especially too that would have been happening... That wasn't even where I think I was putting the hot air, but I don't know, maybe it was. I think it might have been something to do with the fact that I was heating it myself, so... Anyway. They kind of... At least we didn't popcorn it. But I don't think we reflowed it. Wow, I didn't even melt that, so I really don't think I got anywhere near reflow temperature. Makes me want to make my own reflow rework station. Have multiple zones, multiple heaters, English controls, things like that. It actually powers back up. I don't think we're going to get green blinks anyway. Yeah. So we didn't do anything. Well, we didn't achieve anything, but we also didn't destroy anything further. It's 800 milliamp rate's changed a bit actually. Could be just because it's hot, that's all. Cecilia, the only trouble with rework stations is that really it's very hard to build a business case for their purchase, because you're going to have to spend about $5,000-6,000 to get one that won't destroy your jobs like this, and then you're really not going to get that sort of money back for it for many years. Rehot again now. Oh man. No, it's getting late. It's already 1:30 in the morning. I've really got to get to bed. Alright, I'm heading off to sleep, but that was a bit of a interesting activity. Yeah, wasn't expecting that. Sorry we don't get to finish on a high, but that's the way it goes sometimes. Tomorrow I've just got keyboard replacements. Nothing new has really come through. It's a bit of a boring weekend, I'm afraid. Anyway, I am out of here, and I will catch you when I catch you. But thank you very much for dropping in. I'll see you next time. Until then, you take care. I'll catch you later.